Hello, my beautiful friends. I had to come on a little early today, so I apologize if you come on at 10 and you miss me. I will post this video here as well afterwards. I'm actually in the wellness center that's close by me that I do sessions in because I have sessions booked for the day, and that's why I need to jump on a little early because I have a session at 10. So I wanted to come on and share. So today is day 7 of our 7-day challenge. So we're reaching the end of it. And so what have we done? I just want to do a quick recap. So we've identified things that feel heavy. We've identified things that feel good. We've started noticing and becoming aware of our guidance system, this feeling system that gives us guidance, where it's heavy and where we're in resistance and what feels not so great, and then what feels good. Now we started to pay attention to it. We started to acknowledge the things that we see and choose. And then we also started setting some intention and knowing that our intention is powerful. So creating an opportunity for a different feeling, because we also know that we also have feelings that tend to show up, whatever. We don't manifest from the thoughts consistently, we manifest from our feelings. And when we are in a point of like, what is our dominant feeling throughout the day? So if you have a random thought, it doesn't mean you're stuck in that thought. It means that you're moving through something. And the feelings, though, sometimes show up when we have to process them. So when we feel like we can't process them, we try to bypass with a positive feeling like, I'm feeling bad, I need to get through this, and I know this because I've gone through it. Hello, lovelies. Like we feel like we can't process or can't feel bad things. But that's not the point. The point is, what dominant feeling are we in? What feeling do we feel the most throughout the day? And this is the thing. If we do sometimes have to sit in the heavy feelings, we have to feel the feelings, because we are humans and we are here to feel all the feelings. But it's a matter of not spending all day in it. And it's a matter of not spending, not recognizing it. A lot of the times we try to jump over with positivity. We try to bypass it instead of feeling the feelings we are meant to feel. So we know there's a feeling, whatever we manifest from our dominant feeling that we have throughout the day. The other thing is we know we have an emotion or a feeling that we feel when we're challenged that we always kind of revert back to. It's our programming. There's a feeling that we tend to get stuck in. And this is where it's like, okay, now we get to choose to move it. And this is where the awareness comes in and setting the intention comes in, is that now we are aware of these things. We can now choose to make them different, to show up differently. And then, so that's what we did yesterday was, okay, or Friday, I guess it was, we chose to feel like set that intention of what we choose to feel. And then we went to yesterday into the feeling of what feels good. Like, how can we choose that feeling and be intentional about that feeling more often throughout our day? How can we find things to anchor it in with action, with movement? Because manifestation doesn't happen in a silo. You can't sit on a couch, sorry. You can't sit on a couch and manifest, right? It doesn't work that way. There has to be action involved. So you do need to go in and do some action around that manifestation, around the feeling. So yesterday was around really connecting with the feeling and taking action from it, allowing the inspired action to come through from that feeling, and then moving in it, taking action to solidify that feeling within you, with you acting in the feeling, not as if, but acting in that feeling. And what does that do? And I want you to pay attention to the results that you see from yesterday of that activity, that task of finding the feeling that you are choosing, listening to if you say in that feeling, what is my next step, and acting in it. And I want you to share the results either in the comments, in the posts. I really want you to kind of pay attention to the evidence of what shows up when you act in that way. And then today's task, what I want you to do today is create a statement of you with your goals achieved, of you with the life that you want to live. Create a solidifying statement that you can come back to that's going to remind you of the feeling that you want to be in, that's going to remind you of the action that you want to take in that feeling, that's going to remind you and anchor you into that creation of what you're creating now and not what you've been all along. Because like we said, we know there's patterns, we know there's awareness, we've built all these pieces, and now I want you to take those pieces and put this into solidifying and integrating it so that you're creating this on a consistent basis. So through this last week, we have gone through, and I also have a bonus day for you. I'm coming in again tomorrow at 10 o'clock because I do have a bonus day. There's something else that came up as we're going through this challenge that I feel like is something that would be super helpful. So I want to come in and I'm going to give you some a bonus task tomorrow. But what I've walked you through over the last week is specifically the process in which I have a program. It's called the Sacred Shift. It's an 8-week process. We are actually kicking it off today with an orientation call. That doesn't mean you're too late. It's just the orientation call. It'll be recorded. So even if you jump in today, if you see this tomorrow, if you see this the next day, you can still jump in. We got a whole week before we actually kick off with a week, like getting into it. And even if you catch this later, don't even worry about it. It's an evergreen program. So the videos and the content and everything is recorded. You get meditations, you get worksheets, you get breathwork sessions, you get content, you get information, recorded videos. But we're going through it as a group. And what we do with this Sacred Shift is we do what we've been doing all week, but we then integrate it. We create this as an action for you to create it, to master it. The reason why it's 8 weeks, you can go through it super quick. We've gone through all of it in a week. But it hasn't really given you a whole lot of time to take that information, integrate it, or get feedback. And this is what I'm doing is I'm creating an opportunity for us together as a group to go through this program 8 weeks, like 1 week at a time. We're going to break this down piece by piece like we've done all week. And we're going to integrate the pieces and we're going to talk about what shows up. You're going to get feedback. You're going to get the mirror effect. What I talked about one of the last few days is like when we're surrounded by people. I don't know if I even talked about it. I think I talked about it somewhere else. That's why it seems familiar. It was this weekend. I was doing we did that in-person event on the weekend and that's when it showed up. But the collection of people, like we just did this group session on Saturday. It was so beautiful. Everyone that was in that group was the right group of people. And all of the people each supported each other because we all, of course, this is how it always works, end up with the same kind of struggles. And when we see somebody else going through it, when we see the evidence from somebody else, or if somebody shares something and you hit it and you're like, oh, that resonates for me, that hits for me, that feels right for me, that's my truth too. This is where we get to be a reflection and a mirror of each other. So I just want to open up space for that to happen. So that's what we're doing in this 8-week group program. We're going through it step by step together. And the purpose of it being 8 weeks, like I said, is not just solidifying, going through the material and understanding it consciously. I want to embed it. I want to help you master it so that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what shifts happen, no matter how you change and grow, you can utilize this process again and again and again, whether it's a money aspect, whether it's something going on in your relationships, whether it's something going on in your business, whether it's something going on in your life, whether it's something going on at work. You can take this process and go through it again and again. You keep access to it. So as soon as you get the access, you get the meditations, the breath work, the guided videos, you get access to all of that for the rest of your life. So imagine taking this emotional shift for yourself and then applying it to everything else when something else shows up. Because I do that. That's what I've been doing since December. When things show up, I start paying attention and I start reflecting and I start doing this work. I start recognizing and feeling the feelings that don't feel good, and then start acting in the space and creating the space instead of bypassing it and just shifting the positivity. I sit in it for a minute, which is what we kind of talked about on Monday, sitting in that heaviness. What is it telling us? Because this is the thing as humans we avoid doing. I'm sorry, but we don't like discomfort. Our body physically doesn't like it. So we avoid it in any way, shape, or possible. We go do extra work. We show up differently. We do a bunch of different things. So this is the thing, is like when we learn to sit in it, process it, we can then let it go and it doesn't manage our whole life. Anyway, I gotta go because I have a session to do. But I just thank you so much for being here these last few weeks. Again, I'm giving away a session to somebody who, if you haven't gone through all of these 7 days and the bonus day tomorrow, they're all up on my YouTube channel, which you can get in the link in my bio. You can go back through all of them. It tells you all the tasks and the activities to do. You can go back through them over and over again. But I would just love to invite you to the opportunity where you can be supported, you can be reflected, and you can be given as much as you give. Anyway, that's about it. Oh, like I said, comment in the YouTube channel or here on TikTok or on Instagram or on Facebook, wherever you are. Comment below that you're doing the activities, because at the end of the week, I'll give you till Friday to go through all 7 days. And additionally, the bonus is a bonus, so you don't need to worry about that. But to say done or connect or that share about your activity that you're doing, that you've done all 7 days, and you'll be put in the draw on Friday to get a session with me. Anyway, beautiful. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you all next time tomorrow, 10 o'clock.